The federal indictment against former President Donald Trump and one of his associates was unsealed today. It marks the first time a former president has faced federal charges. Trump now faces 31 counts of willful retention of national defense information. The indictment details various locations where he allegedly stored classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Trump is expected to appear in a Miami federal courthouse Tuesday. This is a live look at that courthouse. Joining me now live is News4Jack's political analyst Rick Mullaney. Rick, we have this indictment right here in my hand. So let's just talk procedurally. What's going to happen Tuesday when the former president goes to court?
From a criminal justice standpoint, criminal procedure standpoint, should be fairly routine. And by routine, I mean he will be there, he will enter a plea of not guilty, and he will leave the courtroom. What will not be routine is the heightened security, the national interest, the global interest. Make no mistake, it's unprecedented, it's historic, we've never seen anything like it. The nation is about to enter into uncharted territory, but on Tuesday, expect the procedure to be fairly routine and straightforward.
So how is his case different from President Biden and former President Mike Pence's case, who are also both accused of having classified documents in their possession?
Well, first of all, three different investigations. When it comes to Vice President Pence, that investigation has actually been closed out by the Justice Department. They are not moving forward with it. There are about 12 documents involved there. He claimed it was through inadvertence. When it comes to President Biden, that is an ongoing investigation with the special counsel. And of course, with Donald Trump, we now have a 49-page indictment with 37 counts, but three big differences. Number one is the number of documents. With Donald Trump, originally over 300 documents. He turned some of those in, but after the search of his home, over 100 documents. With Mike Pence, about 12 documents. With Joe Biden, originally about 12 documents, and then they got some more from his home. That's still under investigation. The second big difference is the nature and sensitivity of those documents. As we learned in the indictment today, those documents were very, very serious. National security, highest priority in the country for Donald Trump. We don't know yet for Joe Biden. The third biggest difference, and this really is the most significant, is the allegations of obstruction of justice, the allegations of false statements and conspiracy. That appears to set this case apart from Mike Pence and from President Joe Biden.
Everyone's looking forward to the presidential election and curious about the impact that this indictment could have on the presidential election. Could this federal indictment in any way prevent former President Trump from running for president again?
It can't, Tarek. The indictment itself does not prevent Donald Trump from running for president. A conviction does not prevent him from running for president. And in fact, even his imprisonment does not prevent him from running for president. That's constitutional law in the country. In terms of the political consequences, however, it could very well help him in the primary. It potentially could hurt him in the general election. We'll have to wait and see. But nothing in the indictment prevents Donald Trump from moving forward with his campaign.
And the other cases that Donald Trump is facing, we're talking about election interference in Georgia. Which is worse?
Tarek, there's 4 investigations. So far, we've seen an indictment out of New York. That one was less serious and less compelling than we saw today, which is the second case on classified documents. There's a third one out of Georgia that involves January 6th and potential election interference. And there's a fourth case, a federal case, again looking into January 6th. I believe the most serious allegations are January 6th relating in Georgia and the federal prosecution coming out of the Department of Justice. The best case legally, however, appears to be this case, the classified documents case. That proof is relatively straightforward. The allegations are very detailed, very compelling. This is a challenging case for Donald Trump.
Rick Mullaney, thank you for joining us.